Hello everyone, welcome to Realistic Realtors with Superior Coaching School. I'm Bill and this is Nick, and welcome to Volume 3 of Success Planning. And one thing that Nick and I try to do, we try to keep it real. It's all about taking action as realtors and implementing your plan to be successful. And we'll provide you today with the steps you can take right away to better yourself and better your business. And Nick, today's lesson, we're discussing our open houses and how to be successful with open houses.
Yeah, and you know what, Bill? When regarding open houses, what you'll realize is that you have an old school approach because you've done this a long time. And so realtors that have done this a long time, you're going to flyer your community, you're going to door knock, you're going to farm and let people know in that area by sponsoring events that you have an open house. And then you have a new school approach that I would take that says you're going to put your open houses online, you're going to promote it in Facebook groups, you're going to put it and run some paid advertising to promote your open house. But we know that it takes a blend of both approaches to be successful in today's market. So let's talk more about how to do that.
Sure. So I will cover the old school approach because Nick educated me on the new school approach. I was doing a lot of things wrong with open houses. So basically, I get open house. Make sure you put in that MLS like the Monday before, not like the Friday, the day before. So put in your MLS that Monday. Make sure that you distribute flyers in that community for the open house on that upcoming weekend. Please make sure that if you're going to ruin your day with open house, it just doesn't take 2 hours because you're buying cookies and milk and you're getting balloons. And I put balloons out, right, old school. Do it 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. Like, give people opportunity to view the house. You know, when I see these realtors doing it 1 to 2, or 1 to 3, I mean, you have an hour or two for open house. Mine are always 3 or 4 hours. So I go out there, I put the signs out the night before, I put balloons on the sign, I put in MLS the week before, and I'll flyer the community. Those are steps I take before the open house.
Yeah, just to bring up a point, what you said about, if you're going to ruin your day, might as well make it a 4-hour open house. I mean, how many times have I heard about a realtor that said, I did a 2-hour open house, and man, right as I left, I got a phone call saying, hey, is the house still open?
Right.
And they had to turn right back around. I mean, some people are driving, they're just coming through the neighborhood. Again, you're going to be there an extra hour. Make sure you have things to do during that hour if there's not a lot of foot traffic. If there's a lot of foot traffic, you might, even if you had a 2-hour, 3-hour open house, you might stay an extra half hour.
Sure.
Because people are still coming in. It's all about how much do you really want it and how successful you're going to be.
And how would you prepare it to a different level? Because I left a lot of stuff out with that new school approach we should implement. What would you do after I hung the signs and the balloons and put in MLS?
Well, there's a couple of things that you'll want to do. First of all, as you mentioned, putting into the MLS will syndicate the open house to all these third-party vendors, right? Like Zillow and Realtor.com, things of that nature. But it's not always accurate, so be careful of that. Make sure you check and see that they are showing the correct times and location, because sometimes
Sure.
it does not. And B, what you want to do, what it's not doing, is it's not promoting your open house to people in your market. Okay, so Zillow and Realtor.com, these third-party sites, are going to promote it, your open house, if somebody is already looking for that house. Okay, but if you have people in your area that might not even know to be looking, right, for that house online, you want to put it in front of them. So the way to do that is to make sure you take a graphic that you're going to create on something like Canva or some marketing centers. We have a marketing center that we use, a marketing tool. And you're going to create graphics, create a video, something to promote your open house. And you're going to put this on the apps like social media like Facebook and Instagram. And you're going to put it into these groups where people are actively looking for homes nearby. And what's key about that, such as local realtor network groups or home for sale groups on Facebook, things of that nature, you're basically putting it organically in front of people that may just stumble upon the open house and are not going to just have to specifically click on it on Zillow.
Now, would you do a Facebook Live out in the front yard a week before, the day of? What would you do with that?
Yeah, exactly. It's a great point. And so I think that's very important. Taking advantage of going live. You want to preview the home as well. This is another example why you want to have a longer open house. Mm-hmm. Some people are going to see your live video, especially if you share your video again to maybe your neighborhood group. If there's a neighbors group where only neighbors in that community can see what is posted in there. If you post your live video and says, hey, I'm throwing an event,
Right.
because we want to describe our open houses as an event. So you have to be there. Why? Because look at this. And show them the interior. Show them some of the best features of the home and explain when you're going to be there and what you're doing. And then what that does is it allows you to get traction online in these groups. And now it's going to spread like word of mouth. And again, that's why you want to stay there longer. Oh, actually, I heard about it just today. Somebody told me I should come swing by. We've heard that so many different times. And what you have to realize is that is because you took the time to remember, okay, I put my signs out, I turn on all the lights, I'm here early. Instead of just sitting there on your phone for the next 20 minutes, go live.
Right.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes either. It makes you more relatable. You know, the more mistakes you make, actually, the more relatable you become.
Sure. So we just went over what steps you should take promoting the open house and getting ready for the open house. Now let's look at the day of the open house, right? So we want to make sure we get there half an hour before. Ask your seller to actually partake in it a little bit. Ask them, hey, listen, before you leave, make sure all the lights are on. Can you make sure we have some nice music playing so you don't have to deal with that when you get there? And what I do when I get there, you know, I have a binder there, and in that binder, I have every house for sale in that community, okay? I have a sign-in sheet. When people come in, they can give me all their information. And I have the water and the cookies out, all the fun stuff. But back to the binder. Why do I have a binder with every house for sale in the community? It's pretty simple. If I have a potential buyer come in, his name is Nathan, and Nathan likes the house, but it's not exactly what he's looking for, I'll say, listen, Nathan, do you like the community? Because in this binder, the other 20 houses for sale in this community are right here. Why don't you go through the binder, take a look at it, and if there's a house or two you want to see, why don't you do a drive-by? Because I'm done in 45 minutes, and we can make and schedule an appointment to see that house. Realtors have to remember, that open house is not just there for your seller, it's for you. Every person that comes in is a potential client, and that's our goal, get a potential client and sell a house. So you have to give them options, just not the house that they're in.
So one thing you're pointing out is basically don't fall in love with the open house, or with the house that you're showing, right? Because you might be showing someone else's listing even, right? You might be hosting an open house, and you might really want to sell it for the listing agent that's a good friend of yours, for example,
Sure.
right? But what you need to realize as the agent hosting it, that's not the objective. The objective is every person that comes in there to build a relationship with them, because they 99 times out of 100 will end up buying another house.
Yeah, and you know what Nick actually pointed out to me? He's like, Bill, you know, the binder's great, good for the binder, you know, but let's bring it into this century. He's like, bring your laptop, connect to the internet, and all your comps there, have them on your computer, because then we see real good color photos, right? Get people a little more excited than my binder. And that's a lot easier and quicker with a laptop.
But I do think it's important, because there's good value in having that binder there, is there not, right? I mean, having something tangible that they can feel and they can look through and flip through as they're walking around. You might even offer to say, hey, go do your drive-by and look at you can take the binder with you and bring it back to me, and then we'll go schedule that appointment.
Right, so to do both, right? And Nick will also tell me, Bill, this sign-in sheet is great, but you know what I found also is people fill something out, I get home, I can't read their handwriting.
Yeah.
If you have the sign-in sheet on your laptop and they come over, type,
Hard
we're
to
going to
make a
see it.
mistake.
And they're not going to make a mistake, and if the email doesn't work, they did that on purpose.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's one of the things about the open houses, and we can talk about binders and stuff like that, but I think the next step, Nick, is follow-up, right?
Exactly, and I think follow-up is so key, because again, if we're looking at the objective of you hosting open house, you're working with buyers, okay? And you know that, based on sales statistics, right? We read some statistics from the National Sales Association. So these are all fields of sales.
Sure.
That say that all of the sales conducted took between 8 to 12. That's 75% of all sales are made between 8 to 12 touches. So that means, and that's for all sales.
Yep.
So this could be selling anything,
Sure.
right? Something that you could just buy right away. You know, your $19.99 deal. This is not a house, which is your most important emotional and financial decision of your life, right? So if for all sales it took at least 8 to 12 touches for them to finally close the deal, why do we as realtors feel that, oh, as soon as someone comes in the open house, our work is done?
Right. No, we have to follow up. And Nick, I tell all of my realtors, listen, that night, email them. And if they came to a community called Northstone, and that's where your open house was, I want you to email them every house in their price range. Say it was 300 to 400,000. Say, hey, Nathan, it was great meeting you today. It was a pleasure that we spent some time together, and you looked at my house on 105 Maple. But guess what? There's 10 other houses in the neighborhood that fits your description and price range. Here they are. Give me a call if you want to view any of them. That's Saturday night. Afterwards, guess what? Monday, I follow up with a text. Did you receive those? And Tuesday, I'll follow up with a phone call. People are busy. Do not feel as a realtor that you're bugging them. I'd rather have people say, hey, listen, I'm just not ready, and stop emailing me, stop texting me, stop calling me. I'd rather people say, I'm using you because you're so persistent.
Yeah.
And so many realtors are afraid to be too persistent. Well, that's how you become successful.
You want to live and die by it. You want to succeed by it because of your persistence, and you want to lose people because of your persistence.
Sure.
At least, at the end of the day, you followed up. And I think a key point there, just tying it back to open houses, right? You have your printed list in your binder. You have your list on your laptop. But I think what's important is when you're following up, send those lists. Make sure that that's what's included. Hey, Nathan, thanks for coming into open house. We appreciate it. You drove by. You didn't have enough time to schedule showing. That's fine. But here's a link to all the homes that you could see in the area, and that let's schedule another time that works for you. What days work for you? Give them two options. Does Monday or Tuesday work? Right. Give them a couple options. Both of those work for me. What about you? Because we can see those homes that you didn't have time for today. That's some of the follow-up that you want to get into. And I think what's important is you want to be an expert in your neighborhood as well, right? You really want to know. You want to be prepared. What are the amenities? What are the HOA fees, right?
That's a great point. What Nick just said, be an expert in that community. Because when someone comes in and you're holding open house for $400,000 to $500,000 price range, you better know all the other houses for sale, okay, in that neighborhood, review them. And guess what? Neighbors are going to come in and they're going to say, hey, our neighbor went on our contract 2 days ago. Well, you better be aware of what that is, because the neighbor comes in, they're going to want to know that you're an expert. They're going to want to feel reassured that you know the information about the neighborhood, because these neighbors are more well-informed than ever before because of HGTV, because of Zillow and everything. They can pull those comps. Yeah. And you don't want to be questioned by a neighbor. You want to not know the answer.
Yeah, of course. It's not a good feeling to have, and it's something that you can prepare for in advance. And again, a lot of this comes to preparation. So let's review, right? Preparing for the open house means not only turning on the lights and everything as far as physically preparing for the open house, but it means being prepared with your comps, with everything that's sold recently in the area, having everything printed in a binder, but also pulling it online, having your sign-in sheet on your laptop or an iPad, right?
Yep.
Having everything prepared mentally to know that I'm here to get at least one solid buyer. Like, what's the example you always gave that, hey, if I did an open house every weekend, and I continued to do it every weekend, and I did it every week of the year, 52 times a year, how many buyers would you get from that?
I always said every 5 houses I do, I will sell a house. I will pick up a client with every 5. And I said, if my average commission is going to be $10,000, 5 Saturdays, is worth my time. I'm not worth.
So each Saturday that you're doing open house is worth $2,000 to you.
$2,000 to me. And the last thing I wanted to point out, which is really crucial here, guys, when you're doing that open house and that buyer walks in, you have to connect with that buyer. And it's not about the house. I always make a joke. Hey guys, welcome to 105 Maples, 3,500 square feet, 5 bedrooms. Listen, it's not HGTV. Go around the house, look at it, talk about me behind my back. I'm not going to, make fun of me, have some fun. I'm not going to take you through every room. People want their own privacy. They don't need us to walk through every room and be descriptive. They feel like we're hovering. So don't do that, but then form some kind of connection. Find out where they grew up, find out where they went to high school, where they went to college, what they're into. You will, after a while, have some kind of connection, and you'd be surprised. You actually might know some of the same people.
And if you know some of the same people, you make that connection, even if they know some other realtor. Because, we always get that question, hey, have you worked with a realtor? Are you working with a realtor when they come in an open house? And they'll say, yeah, we're kind of working with somebody. 9 times out of 10, that just means they've met someone, somebody gave them a call, they've talked to another
And they don't
realtor.
want to commit to us.
Exactly. Nobody wants to commit, but they're not committed already. So you just say, okay, no problem. You continue to build that relationship, and by continuing to be persistent,
Build trust, win them over.
win them over, build trust, be persistent. That's how you win that business. So, so we have somebody who's done more open houses than I think anybody.
She built her business on it.
She did, and she's our interview this week. So, tell us a little bit about Kat Webb.
Yeah, so Kat Webb, she will go and do probably, I would say, 40 to 50 open houses a year, okay? She's not out there spending thousands of dollars on any kind of lead generation. And Kat Webb will go do, sell 30 to 40 houses a year just by the connection she makes with doing the open houses. She's stellar at it. She's great at it.
And I think what she'll tell you is that she just tries to meet people, connect with them, like you said, and she just tries to make relationships there.
And stays in contact. That's the big thing, stays in
Constant
contact. So listen, guys, great valid points that we discussed to help you be successful with your open houses. And Kat Webb now is going to come join us, so please enjoy her video. And we will see you next week, our next lesson.